A video showing police officers violently tackling a black teenager during a fight with a young white man has sparked outrage over the police action. The clip posted on social media and aired by several media outlets shows a fist fight between two teenagers at a shopping center in Bridgewater, New Jersey. After about 10 seconds, two police officers arrive at the scene and forcefully separate the teens. But while the black teenager is violently thrown on the floor by the police officer, the young white man is simply made to sit on a sofa. And joining me now is Global Affairs analyst Calvin Dark. He joins us from Washington, D.C. Good to have you join us, Calvin.
Good to be here.
I know you would have seen that video. It's a bit difficult to watch, especially when you see that the white teenager was on top of the black teenager even while the police arrived, and then he still was made to sit on a sofa. I mean, when you look at the video, you know who the aggressor is, and the boy had said his friend was being bullied. That's why, you know, that led to the brawl. But what do you think is the reason for this kind of behavior and reaction coming from the police officers?
Well, it's simple. It's that implicit bias that too many in this country have, particularly in law enforcement. And, you know, if you take a look at the police officers, from what I was able to tell, these were relatively young police officers, my age or most likely younger. So this isn't an age or generation thing. But, you know, just to step back, when you mentioned how difficult it was to watch the video, for me it definitely was, because it reminded me of the reality that I, as a black man in this country, live, along with all other black people in this country, is that if we're somewhere, whether we're involved, if we instigate it, if we're a bystander, if we're a witness, we are going to be the first suspects. We are going to be the people that are first blamed. And if there aren't cameras, we may be the first people punished by law enforcement until our innocence is proved otherwise. And that was what was difficult to watch, because it was a reminder that that's a reality that black Americans live every day.
I want to talk about the second officer, the lady, the woman, the female police officer. At first, her reaction was to separate both teens. Now, when she saw that the other male officer was kneeling on the teen, the black teen, she then followed his action. And this is what we see most times over and over again in this situation, where there is an officer who seems to be the aggressor, who seems to be the offender, and then, you know, the other officers who do nothing to ensure that, you know, you are not, you know, you're not. It doesn't become a racist issue. She just followed without having to say, get away from him, like we saw in the George Floyd video. What does this say to you?
Well, it says, one, that you know, a lot of people have talked about, you know, how did it start? Who was the aggressor? For this part, it really doesn't matter. What this shows is she stepped into a situation and within seconds realized who she thought had to be the aggressor. And as you mentioned with what the other policeman did, that just reinforced her bias. She saw what he was doing, and she went and followed suit. So I think that this is just a reminder that in these split-second decisions that have to be made by law enforcement, their bias often colors the facts, and then those facts that they perceive color their actions.
I want to take a statement coming from one of the teenagers. I think his name is Kai. He says if they don't know how to treat the situation and deal with the situation equally and fairly, then they shouldn't be able to deal with the situation at all. That's coming from an 8th grader. And it sort of seems to sum up what everyone has been saying in America over the years. So what do you make of this statement? Quite powerful from a teenager.
Quite powerful, and even more so, it's true. You know, this situation, along with every time this happens here in the United States, particularly those incidents that are filmed, you know, we always talk about, well, what training, you know, or what should we do as punishment so these officers learn what they should do in the future. For these two officers, they need to find another job, because this is clearly not what they are cut out to do. That, sure, more training, kind of helping police officers de-escalate. We need that. We need more of that. But just like the teenager said, this points to something deeper, that they shouldn't be in a position where this is their first reaction. And I don't think they should be in law enforcement, nor should anyone else who can't let their implicit bias affect the de-escalation and fairness that they are supposed to practice when they come across a situation like this.
And as everyone says, when it comes to the police brutality in the U.S., is always one step forward, as we saw with the George Floyd judgment, and then one step backward in this case. Thank you so much for talking to us, Global Affairs Analyst Calvin Dark.
Thank you.